Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by sharing a truth that may be uncomfortable. Your enemy doesn't need to be louder, stronger, or more powerful to defeat you. Sometimes the enemy only needs to confuse you, to stir chaos in your mind, and to throw you off course. But what if I told you that you hold the power to silence every voice that rises against you, not with violence, not with shouting, but with a strategy so potent that your enemy will never see it coming? Today, I'm going to reveal how to silence your enemy without ever having to raise your voice or lose your peace. I'm not just talking about external forces that come against you, but also the internal battles you face, the doubts, fears, and insecurities that whisper in your ear. What I'm about to share has the power to change the way you handle every attack, every opposition, and every negative force that comes your way. So you see, the enemy's greatest power is in keeping you distracted. When you're distracted, you're vulnerable. But when you know how to stand firm, when you learn the art of strategic silence, you strip your enemy of the power they thought they had over you. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you won't just know how to silence your enemy, you will have mastered the skill of turning their attempts against you into stepping stones toward your destiny. This isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about rising above it. The first step in silencing your enemy is identifying who and what the real enemy is. Sometimes, the enemy isn't a person, it's the doubt within you. It's the fear that you can't move forward, the insecurity that says you're not enough. Once you recognize the source of the attacks, you know where to direct your focus. Your enemy thrives when you lack understanding. Ignorance is the enemy's playground. But when you equip yourself with knowledge about your situation, about your strengths, and about the strategies used against you, you disarm your opponent. Knowledge gives you the upper hand. So the enemy's goal is often to provoke a reaction from you, to pull you into a battle that isn't worth fighting. But when you master the ability to control your response, when you decide not to engage emotionally, but instead to respond strategically, you silence them. Silence doesn't mean weakness. Silence is often the strongest stance you can take. It confuses your enemy because they expect retaliation, they expect you to lash out. But when you remain calm, composed, and silent, you take away their power. When you walk confidently in your purpose, the enemy's efforts become futile. They can't derail you if you are focused on where you're headed. Purpose gives you direction, and when you're clear on your path, distractions lose their potency. There is power in your words. The enemy is silenced when you speak with purpose, not out of anger or fear. The truth spoken at the right time can dismantle lies and bring clarity to confusion. Choose your words wisely, and let them be few but impactful. Nothing silences your enemies more than your success. When you continue to rise, despite every obstacle thrown at you, the noise around you fades. Focus on your goals, your dreams, and your growth. Each victory you achieve speaks louder than any insult or attack. One of the enemy's greatest strategies is predicting your moves, but when you are led by wisdom and strategy, you become unpredictable. You make moves that confuse the enemy, and they cannot keep up with you. Silence them by remaining a step ahead. So finally, the greatest way to silence your enemy is to outlast them. The enemy may attack for a season, but seasons change. If you endure, if you keep pressing forward, the voice of your enemy will grow faint. Silence is achieved not just through immediate responses, but through unwavering persistence. Remember, the battle is not always won by those who fight the loudest or the hardest. True victory belongs to those who can stand in the storm, unmoved, confident in their purpose, and empowered by wisdom. Your greatest weapon against the enemy is not found in the physical realm, but within your mind. Often we believe that victory over our enemies comes from external force, from what we can do or say to overpower them. However, the real battleground is in our thoughts, in our ability to maintain mental clarity and emotional control. The enemy thrives when we lose focus, when we become reactive instead of proactive. But when you learn to guard your mind, when you train yourself to think strategically rather than emotionally, you gain the upper hand without ever needing to lift a finger. The mind is where fear takes root, where doubt begins to whisper, and where insecurities grow. If you can master your mind, if you can silence the inner noise and focus on what truly matters, you've already won half the battle. External threats lose their power when they can no longer penetrate your thoughts. Your ability to stay calm, to think clearly, and to remain focused in the midst of chaos makes you an impenetrable force. Your enemy may try to attack you physically, emotionally, or even socially, but none of that can succeed if you maintain control over your mind. A strong mind is unshakable. It doesn't bend under pressure, nor does it allow distractions to throw it off course. While others panic, a disciplined mind stays steady. This is why the greatest victories are often silent, unseen by the world, but felt deeply within. So the battlefield of the mind is where wars are won long before a word is spoken or an action is taken. Silencing your enemy begins with a fundamental principle: knowing who the real enemy is. Many times, we expend energy fighting the wrong battles because we misidentify the true source of opposition. We assume that the enemy is the person who criticizes us, the colleague who undermines us, or even the circumstances that seem to be against us. But the truth is often more profound. The enemy we face is not always external. Sometimes, the most destructive battles are fought within ourselves. So there is a reason why distractions, doubts, and internal struggles can be more paralyzing than any external force. So the enemy knows that if he can disrupt your inner world, your mind, emotions, and spirit, he can stop you before you even step onto the battlefield. It's in those quiet moments when you're alone, wrestling with your thoughts, that the real war is taking place. This is why it's so crucial to identify the real source of your opposition. In some cases, the enemy may take the form of fear, the fear that you're not enough, that you're going to fail, or that your efforts are in vain. In other instances, the enemy is doubt, the small, seemingly harmless thoughts that creep in and make you question your purpose, your ability, or even your worth. And then there's the enemy of insecurity, which feeds on comparison and the false belief that you're somehow falling behind while others succeed. But here's the truth: the moment you identify the real enemy, you are no longer a victim. When you gain power because you know where to direct your focus. The enemy thrives in confusion, in the shadows of misdirection, and in the chaos of mixed emotions. But once you bring clarity to the situation, once you recognize that the real battle is within against your fears, doubts, and insecurities, you begin to fight with a different strategy. Instead of lashing out at the people around you, blaming your circumstances, or being overwhelmed by the challenges in front of you, you now understand that the key to silencing your enemy starts from within. You don't need to waste your energy fighting surface battles. The real victory comes when you quiet the inner voices that attempt to undermine your confidence and purpose. When you master this, the external enemies lose their power because you've already won the most important fight, the battle for control over your mind and emotions. Your enemy's strategy is often to disguise itself, to make you think the problem lies somewhere else. But once you pull back the layers and see what's really going on, you can address the root of the issue. When you take the time to recognize the real enemy, you strip it of its ability to surprise you, and you position yourself to act from a place of strength, not reaction. True victory is about mastering your inner world, because once you've done that, no external force can defeat you. One of the enemy's most effective strategies is to create confusion. Confusion leads to hesitation, doubt, and eventually paralysis. When you are unsure of the path ahead, it becomes easy for your enemy to keep you stuck in a state of uncertainty. This is why clarity and focus are essential weapons in silencing the enemy. The enemy thrives in the fog of confusion, where decisions are delayed, opportunities are missed, and fear begins to take root. But the moment you gain clarity about who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going, you begin to dismantle the power that confusion holds over you. Clarity empowers you to move with confidence. When you know what you want and understand your purpose, the distractions and noise around you become insignificant. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of others or the temporary setbacks that come your way. The enemy's attacks lose their potency because they are designed to disrupt your focus, to make you second-guess yourself, to cause you to abandon your goals. But with clarity, you remain grounded in your purpose, and nothing can shake your resolve. Focus is the antidote to confusion. When you are laser-focused, you can cut through the noise, ignore the distractions, and stay on course even in the face of opposition. Your enemy cannot manipulate you when your vision is clear and your actions are aligned with your purpose. It's like standing on solid ground while everything else around you is shifting. No matter how strong the winds of doubt and uncertainty blow, you remain unmoved because you know exactly where you're headed. The enemy tries to scatter your attention, to keep you juggling 1,000 thoughts, tasks, and worries. But when you focus your energy on the things that matter most, you silence the chaos. You reduce the number of entry points for attack, and you become more efficient, more powerful in your efforts. A person with clarity and focus is dangerous to the enemy because they cannot be easily swayed or distracted. Every decision is intentional, every step is calculated, and every action moves you closer to victory. To silence the enemy, you must first silence the confusion within. Seek clarity. Define your purpose. You eliminate distractions. When you do, you remove the enemy's greatest weapon, the ability to throw you off course. So once you are focused and clear, the enemy has no foothold in your life. You walk with purpose, power, and precision, and in doing so, you render the enemy's efforts useless. So there is a power in silence that speaks louder than any noise your enemy can make. Silence, when used strategically, can be more deafening than the more death shout. It is not the absence of action, but the presence of control and wisdom. The enemy expects you to react emotionally, to be drawn into battles that drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. But when you respond with silence, you disarm them. Silence can be unsettling to your enemy because it denies them the response they crave. The enemy thrives on conflict, on stirring emotions, and creating tension. When you refuse to engage in their game, they are left powerless, wondering what your next move will be. Silence confuses the enemy because it breaks the cycle of reaction. It demonstrates that you are not easily swayed or provoked, that you have a higher level of control over yourself than they expected. But make no mistake, silence is not passivity. It is an active choice to rise above the noise, to conserve your energy for battles that matter. In moments of attack, when your enemy is loud and aggressive, choosing silence means you are operating from a position of strength, not weakness. You are showing that you are not ruled by impulse or emotion. Instead, you are guided by wisdom and strategy. Imagine a situation where someone is hurling insults at you, expecting you to retaliate, to fight back with words or actions. The moment you remain silent, you take control of the situation. The enemy may continue to shout, but your silence speaks volumes. It says, "I will not be moved by your attempts to provoke me." Your silence becomes a shield, protecting you from the destructive force of unnecessary conflict. Moreover, silence gives you the opportunity to listen, to observe, and to strategize. While the enemy is busy making noise, you are gathering information, planning your next move. You are in control of the situation because you are not reacting, you are responding in a way that is deliberate and powerful. Your silence allows you to see the bigger picture, to step back from the immediate conflict and see where your true power lies. In the spiritual realm, silence is also a form of surrender, not to the enemy, but to a higher power. By choosing silence, you are allowing space for divine intervention. You are showing that you trust something greater than yourself to handle the situation. When you are acknowledging that not every battle requires your voice or your immediate action. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stand still and let silence speak for you. So when used wisely, silence can dismantle the enemy's plans. It is a tactic that requires patience and confidence, but when executed, it leaves your enemy grasping for control. They can no longer predict your next move because you have removed yourself from their cycle of manipulation. Silence in the face of opposition declares that you are in command not of the situation but of yourself, and that self-mastery is what truly silences your enemy. One of the most profound ways to silence your enemy is through your actions. Talk is cheap and words can be empty, but actions carry a weight that words cannot. So your enemy may try to bring you down with accusations, doubts, or lies, but when your actions consistently reflect integrity, excellence, and purpose, their words lose power. They can say all they want, but your life becomes the undeniable evidence of truth. Actions don't just silence the noise, they render it irrelevant. You see, the enemy's strategy is often to attack with words, to create a narrative that undermines your character or abilities. They want you to engage in a war of words where nothing is truly accomplished and where emotions rule over reason. But when you step back from the argument and simply let your actions speak, you rise above the pettiness. When you communicate a message without saying a word, and that message is louder than any argument you could ever have. Think about it. Your enemy may accuse you of being unqualified, unworthy, or incapable. But if you consistently show up, put in the work, and deliver results, those accusations fall flat. Over time, your consistency silences their criticism because no one can argue with evidence. Your achievements become a living testimony that outlasts their words. Instead of engaging in pointless debates, you demonstrate your value through tangible results, leaving your enemy with nothing to hold on to. Actions also have a way of exposing the truth. While the enemy may try to paint you in a negative light, your behavior and decisions over time will reveal who you truly are. People can be misled by lies and false narratives for a season, but when your actions consistently align with your values, truth rises to the surface. Integrity is a powerful weapon that, over time, dismantles every false accusation. The enemy thrives on deception, but truth has a way of prevailing when you live it out consistently. Furthermore, actions speak to your inner strength and discipline. They show that you are not easily swayed by the noise of the world or by the attacks of others. You are focused on your goals, and nothing can pull you off course. This kind of steadfastness sends a clear message to your enemy. You are not vulnerable to their tactics because your foundation is not built on words, but on actions rooted in purpose. And here's the powerful part. When you let your actions do the talking, you not only silence your enemies, but you also inspire others. People are watching how you handle opposition, how you respond to criticism, and how you rise above challenges. When they see you take the high road, remain focused, and produce results despite the noise, you become a living example of resilience and leadership. Your life becomes a testimony of what is possible when you refuse to be distracted by negativity and instead choose to move forward with purpose. So, remember, every time you respond with actions instead of words, you are taking back control. You are shifting the narrative away from the enemy's lies and into the truth of your own life's work. In the end, it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. And when your actions are consistent with your values and purpose, they speak louder than any noise your enemy can make. Another powerful way to silence your enemy is through patience. The enemy thrives on impulsive reactions and hasty decisions, trying to provoke you into making mistakes. But when you master the art of patience, you take away their power to control your actions. Patience gives you the ability to wait for the right moment, to act with wisdom instead of being driven by emotion. It allows you to operate on your own terms, not on the timeline your enemy tries to impose on you. The enemy often wants you to rush into decisions, to act out of fear, anger, or frustration. They create situations that seem urgent, hoping you'll respond without thinking things through. But when you are patient, you take a step back, analyze the situation, and make decisions from a place of clarity. You understand that not every battle needs to be fought immediately, and sometimes the best strategy is to wait. Patience is not passivity, far from it. It's an active, intentional choice to remain calm and composed in the face of pressure. It's the ability to delay gratification and resist the temptation to respond too quickly. While the enemy tries to push you into reacting, you stand firm, knowing that time is often on your side. With patience, you gain perspective. You see the bigger picture and realize that a rushed response can lead to unnecessary mistakes, while a measured approach leads to long-term success. In many cases, the enemy will overextend themselves in an attempt to get you to react. So they'll push harder, throw more obstacles in your path, and try to escalate the situation. But your patience allows them to reveal their hand. While they are in a frenzy, trying to provoke you, you remain calm, allowing them to make mistakes. In their desperation to get a response from you, they often expose their weaknesses, and that's when you strike not out of emotion, but with precision and purpose. Patience also shows that you are confident in your path and your purpose. When you are patient, you are not easily swayed by external pressures. If you're not worried about what others think, and you don't feel the need to prove yourself through quick actions. Instead, you move with intention, knowing that every step you take is carefully thought out. This kind of control is unsettling to the enemy because they expect you to crumble under pressure, but when you don't, when you remain patient and composed, they lose their advantage. Moreover, patience allows time for divine intervention. Sometimes the best thing you can do in a situation is wait and trust that things will unfold in your favor. There are moments when your patience opens the door for solutions you never could have anticipated. While the enemy is pushing for a reaction, your willingness to wait creates space for unexpected breakthroughs. This is the power of patience. It allows the right things to happen at the right time. Ultimately, patience is a mark of strength, not weakness. It's easy to react impulsively to respond in the heat of the moment. But it takes real strength and wisdom to pause, to wait, and to act only when the time is right. When you master patience, you silence your enemy because you refuse to play by their rules. You are no longer a puppet being controlled by external forces. You are in full control, hiding yourself, your actions, and your future. And in that silence, the enemy loses their grip because they can no longer manipulate or provoke you into acting against your own best interests. Forgiveness is one of the most unexpected and powerful ways to silence your enemy. The natural reaction to an enemy's attack is retaliation, anger, or revenge, but forgiveness disrupts that cycle. It confuses and disarms your enemy because it's the last thing they expect. When you choose to forgive, you're not excusing the offense or allowing injustice to go unchecked. You are choosing to free yourself from the emotional and mental chains that keep you bound to the situation. The enemy wants you to hold on to bitterness, to stay trapped in resentment, because those emotions weaken you. They consume your energy, distract your focus, and keep you stuck in the past. But forgiveness breaks that hold. It releases you from the heavy burden of anger and allows you to move forward with a clear mind and a light heart. But forgiveness is a declaration of your strength that shows that you are not controlled by what others have done to you. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. The enemy expects you to react with bitterness, to get caught up in the pain of the offense. They want you to stay focused on what was done to you so you don't realize your potential and move forward. But forgiveness puts the power back in your hands. It says, I will not be defined by this hurt, and I will not allow it to control my life. By choosing forgiveness, you strip the enemy of the ability to keep you trapped in a cycle of negativity. Forgiveness is also a weapon of peace. When you forgive, you choose not to engage in the battle that the enemy is trying to start. You refuse to be drawn into conflict that drains your energy and diminishes your purpose. Instead, you rise above the situation, showing that your peace is more valuable than holding on to a grudge. And in doing so, you silence the enemy because there is no longer any fuel for the fire they are trying to ignite. But forgiveness is not only about freeing yourself, it's also a reflection of inner strength and wisdom. It takes far more courage and maturity to forgive than to seek revenge. Anyone can react with anger, but it takes a person of deep character to release the offense and choose to walk in freedom. The enemy may try to provoke you, but when you choose forgiveness, you send a powerful message. I am in control of my emotions and my destiny, and no one can take that from me. What's even more powerful is that forgiveness often leads to healing and restoration, not just for you, but sometimes even for the one who wronged you. When you forgive, you create space for growth, for reconciliation, and for new beginnings. While the enemy seeks to create division and destruction, forgiveness plants the seeds of peace and understanding. It allows wounds to heal, relationships to mend, and new paths to be forged. And let's not forget the spiritual aspect of forgiveness. When you choose to forgive, you align yourself with divine principles that invite blessing and favor into your life. Holding on to unforgiveness blocks the flow of grace and peace, but when you release the offense, you open yourself up to greater possibilities. You make room for divine justice to work on your behalf. The enemy cannot stand against someone who forgives because they are operating in a realm that transcends human conflict. In the end, forgiveness is not about letting your enemy off the hook. It's about setting yourself free. It's about choosing to live in peace rather than in the prison of resentment. And when you do that, you silence your enemy in the most powerful way possible by refusing to let them control your mind, your heart, or your future. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of strength, and it renders your enemy powerless over your life. Another powerful way to silence your enemy is through unwavering focus. Distraction is one of the enemy's greatest weapons. They will do everything in their power to pull you away from your purpose. They will create chaos, spread rumors, and bring unnecessary drama into your life to take your eyes off what truly matters. But when you stay laser-focused on your goals and purpose, you deprive the enemy of their influence. You make it clear that no amount of noise, negativity, or manipulation will derail you. Focus is your shield against distraction. When you know exactly what you're working towards and you keep your mind fixed on that vision, the enemy's efforts to unsettle you become ineffective. They may try to draw you into petty arguments, trivial matters, or things that have no bearing on your future. But when you're locked in on your path, those distractions lose their power. You don't even have time to engage with them because your eyes are set on a higher goal. I think about in most of the battles, the enemy tries to start are designed to waste your time and energy. They want you to be consumed by doubt, anxiety, and unnecessary conflict. They want you to shift your focus away from building, creating, and progressing. But when you refuse to engage with the distractions, when you maintain focus on what really matters, you rise above their tactics. The more you stay focused, the more irrelevant their noise becomes. Focus also communicates something powerful to those around you, including your enemies. It shows that you are disciplined, determined, and not easily swayed. People who lack focus can be easily led astray by every wind of circumstance or opinion, but a person who is focused is steadfast, grounded, and unwavering. This kind of clarity is intimidating to the enemy because it means they have no way to control or influence your actions. You are not reacting to their provocations, you are proactively moving towards your destiny. And here's the truth, when you're focused, you move faster and more efficiently toward your goals. Every moment you spend on distractions is time lost. Every argument you engage in, every negative comment you dwell on, is pulling you away from what truly matters. But when you maintain your focus, you make rapid progress. Your enemy may try to slow you down, but your unwavering focus acts like a force field, repelling every distraction and keeping you on the path to success. Focus also breeds excellence. When you give something your full attention and effort, you produce results that speak for themselves. Your enemy might try to discredit you with their words, but when your work is excellent, it stands as undeniable proof of your capabilities. Instead of fighting their accusations, you let the quality of your work do the talking. The enemy can argue with your words, but they can't argue with the results of a focused and disciplined life. Another key to maintaining focus is knowing what to ignore. Not every battle is worth fighting, not every comment is worth addressing, and not every situation deserves your attention. Wisdom teaches you when to engage and when to walk away. The enemy thrives on drama, but when you stay focused on what? When you approach situations with love, you refuse to let anger dictate your response. Instead of retaliating or engaging in petty conflicts, you offer understanding, compassion, and empathy. This doesn't mean ignoring wrongs or allowing injustice to flourish. Rather, it means addressing conflicts with a mindset rooted in love. You choose to see people as individuals capable of change and growth, rather than as enemies to be defeated. This perspective shifts the entire dynamic, often catching the enemy off guard. They may expect you to lash out, to respond in kind to their negativity, but when you lead with love, you defy their expectations and reclaim your power. So moreover, love is a unifying force. It has the ability to bridge gaps, heal wounds, and restore relationships. When you embody love, you create an environment where trust and collaboration can flourish. The enemy thrives on division and isolation, but love fosters connection and community. It invites others to see beyond their differences and recognize the shared humanity in each of us. When you respond to hostility with love, you demonstrate that the enemy's tactics cannot prevail against the strength of genuine connection. This does not mean that love is a passive response. Rather, it is an active choice to prioritize peace over conflict. It takes courage and strength to love in the face of animosity. Your love acts as a shield, protecting you from the toxic effects of bitterness and resentment. It empowers you to stand firm in your convictions while also showing kindness and understanding to those who may oppose you. This approach not only protects your heart, but also sends a powerful message to your enemy. Your negativity will not define my response. Additionally, the transformative power of love extends beyond interpersonal conflicts. It can create ripples that reach into your community and even beyond. When you choose love over hate, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions can spark a movement, encouraging those around you to rise above division and embrace a spirit of unity. So the enemy may work tirelessly to create division, but love has the power to dismantle their stronghold, leading to healing and reconciliation. In moments of conflict, remember that love is not a sign of weakness, it is an emblem of strength. It takes a strong person to refuse to be drawn into the fray of anger and hostility. When you lead with love, you exemplify the highest ideals of humanity and elevate the conversation to a level that the enemy cannot penetrate. Your love acts as a counterweight to their negativity, silencing their efforts and shining a light on the path to peace. Well, ultimately, the power of love serves as the final weapon against your enemy. It allows you to stand firm in your convictions while extending grace to those who may oppose you. In a world that often feels divided and adversarial, choosing love offers a profound way to silence your enemies and transform conflict into opportunity. By embodying love, you reclaim your narrative, establish your purpose, and send a clear message: no matter the opposition, love prevails. And in that victory, your enemy finds their power diminished, unable to withstand the overwhelming force of love's enduring strength.